Tom Holland says that Spider-Man and Brand New Day will focus on shooting in real locations and using old school filmmaking. We were really restricted with what we could do in the last movie because of the coof. Now we're really gonna lean into that old school filmmaking and shoot in real locations. We're gonna use the streets of Glasgow for this massive set piece that we are putting together. It's gonna feel like a breath of fresh air. Fans are gonna be over the moon with what we're putting together. Now this is coming from Flip Your Wig, and there's a video of the interview if you guys want to watch it. Overall, I do think that's good news. It's has more authenticity. It feels more real instead of using CGI or fake studios to make sets, which has kind of been a big problem with Disney a lot recently. Is they've been using these sound stages and these 3D CGI stages that they were made for stuff like The Mandalorian, and it never really looked super authentic. Now with this, I'm pretty content with seeing this because ultimately old school filmmaking has a lot more authenticity than having everything be CGI. This is overall good news for the next Spider-Man movie. I think ultimately more movies need to do this. Well, one, CGI is overused. It's now used as a crutch and not a asset. Movies depend on it because of movies like Avatar and Way of Water, because those movies were so CGI heavy and they were widely successful that every company foolishly, and they always choose the worst option. They foolishly assume that, oh, because these movies were billion-dollar movies, that means everyone wants to see CGI all the time, which is not the case. It was just an exception, not the rule. In fact, when movies do use practical effects with a mix of CGI, they often get more praise for more authenticity and more realism in these films. For example, when they used a actual animatronic for the xenomorph in the new Alien movie, people were content. People were happy because it was a real object. And it honestly benefits the actors as well because they're also reacting to something they can see. Their reaction, it feels a lot more authentic because they know what they're looking at, not just acting based off what the script tells them to. They have a visualization of what they're reacting to, and they it feels more real, more authentic. And I think a lot of Hollywood needs to start going back to that because this this is how you make good, high quality movies. Is you do not rely on CGI for everything. You use it as an asset, not a crutch. Practical effects are not broken. It does not need to be saved by CGI. Now, there are limits to what practical effects can do, which is when CGI comes in handy. But using CGI across the board is just, it's not the right move. I mean, look at Thor Love and Thunder, like the infamous floating head scene. That was such poor computer animation and just it was just such a poor job and wasn't the only thing. Freaking what is his name? Um, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Modoc. His face looked oddly and weirdly contorted to the size of the head. Now people say, well, it's because he's got a huge head. Well, even then, it seemed like amateurs on YouTube could do a better job and make Modoc look more realistic and look far better than billion-dollar Hollywood companies, which is kind of saying a lot about the effort and quality that is coming out of Hollywood these days when people on YouTube with probably $50 to a few $100s in their pocket could do a far better job. Overall, this is good news, and I do not find this to be any sort of a problem. And I think more of Marvel needs to do this because this is a step in the right direction, but it's not going to save anything from Marvel. Overall, that's all I've got. So peace.